right. Hello, everybody. This is video number 2 to add to my podcast collection. I filmed video number 1 all about marriage and family. I asked you guys on Instagram stories on my account, obviously, questions about a topic, and you guys ask me the questions and then I talk about it. So I want to make this a whole series, kind of like a podcast, very casual, very laid back, very candid, and like, you know, as honest as I can be. And this is just kind of like to let you guys in a little bit more about who I am and just anything. So let's begin. Okay, so the other topic that I asked that was super popular was about the whole influencer world. But before I dive into that, I just wanted to kind of talk about what has been going on. We just had Easter. Easter was yesterday. This is my first bout at the whole schooling process, or, you know, Presley only started school last September 2023. September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So it's been 6 months since she's been in school. A lot of you guys on here, sorry about that. Jamie and Presley are leaving, but a lot of you guys on here knew or heard me talk about like our struggles with separation anxiety with school. And, you know, we gave it a couple months. I think like 3rd month in, or 2.5 months in, she started really getting the hang of it and doing great, and now she's doing great. However, we have seen a shift. If like ever she's home from school because she's sick, she'll kind of get used to that and will get a little emotional when she does have to go back to school, and they tell us it's normal. But yeah, we're just kind of all experiencing these things. It's new to us. Also, since she's been in school since September, we're also in the really thick of like how they continuously get sick, or there's just always something back to back. If it's not that she's stuffy and coughing, then she has diarrhea. We just finished her whole diarrhea stomach bug bout like 2 weeks ago, and then now she has an ear infection. And I was like letting one of my girlfriends know that like, oh my god, it's just never ending. It's like always one thing after another. And she was like, I'm surprised that you haven't experienced this sooner. And I said, well, you know what? I think it's only because she started school like kind of late, even though it's so crazy in America. Like Presley started school when she was 2, like basically 2.5, almost 3. But like, I feel like that was considered late, and she's literally so young. But anyway, yeah, I feel like before she started school, she didn't really get sick ever. And now that she is in school, we're in the thick of the whole like, oh, it's nonstop. It's always something. So enough of that. I just feel like I want to give you guys these little updates before heading in. But yeah, Easter was like also, it was fine. You know, it was crappy weather here in LA. So our original plans, my girlfriend planned to throw something at her house. Because it was saying it was gonna rain, she canceled, and then we just did something with her at our house, had brunch somewhere. But yeah, anyway, I have a very busy few weeks coming up, because this week is a big photo shoot for something that I'm launching that I've been working on for literally over 3 years. 3, I said 3, okay? So this is a big week. April's a busy month. All right, so let's get into the Q&A portion of the influencer world. So again, I'm gonna try to be as candid as possible. You guys, you know, wanted this video, wanted to know all about it. Obviously, there's always going to be judgment no matter what when it comes to the monetary side of this. There's just always judgment no matter what. And I feel like it gets worse and worse every year with like the trolls and the haters, and there's people having opinions. So I'm just gonna preface this that, you know, you guys wanted answers to some of these questions, so don't get upset with some of the answers that you get. And also, these are all honest answers, obviously. So I don't know, there's just no reason to get upset, really. Anyway, okay. So, first question, whew, a lot of good ones. All right, let's go with this. What is your favorite and least favorite thing about being an influencer? So for me personally, my favorite thing about being an influencer is that I get to do something that I've always loved and known that I was gonna do since I was a little girl. I grew up on an island, but I always knew that I was going to do something with fashion. Like, because it was so scarce, like we didn't really have a lot of access to clothing, fashion. Like it's a tiny island in the middle of nowhere. Like, I would dream about it. I just loved it, even though I couldn't really just easily get it. So when I moved out to California for college, it was like a fashion playground, I feel like. I always knew that I was either gonna own a store or just try to do something with fashion. So for me being an influencer, this is my gateway. This is me living out my passion. My dream that I've always known I wanted to do since I was little, not just this is just not something I wanted to do just because influencer or being an influencer became a thing. It's just that this was how I figured out I could live my passion and dream. It was just through this means, you know, through a platform called YouTube. This is where I started. A lot of people don't know that, but YouTube is where I started. So that's what I love about it, is that I get to share my actual passion. I think a lot of people come on here and they just want to do it just to be an influencer because of, you know, maybe the money you can make, or just to, I don't know, you know, without really having a true passion of actually knowing what it is that you want to share. I actually really love, and no hate to those people. I just know that I enjoy it because this is actually something that I truly deep inside have a passion for. Like, I still get so excited when I receive packages. I have so many clothes and I've turned them around over and over again every couple months, and I still get so excited for clothes. Like, it just makes everything better for me. My least favorite thing is kind of like I touched on, are the trolls. And that would be number one, just because, you know, it's just, I feel like happy people and hating people ain't happy. Like, I just think that I have done this for so many years. I've done this since 2016, and I've seen how progressively worse the internet trolls and the opinions of others have gotten in such an ugly and negative way. Like, I feel like you can give me your opinion, but there's like a nice way to go about it. There's an adult way to go about it. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've been adult about it too, because trust me, I have definitely been petty back, because there's just some trolls that you just sometimes feel like you need to humble. Like, this person wants to talk a big game. Let me humble you a little bit, and let me remind you who's the person posting the stuff online and has the guts to actually do so. So I'm not gonna pretend that I have been perfect and like adult-like, but I've definitely learned over the years. The thing that I just really want people to know is you really do feel better about yourself when you give people compliments and when you say nice things on the internet as opposed to negative things. It'll make you feel better. Just try it. And trust me, I know that sometimes you just look at someone on the internet, post something, and you just sometimes get an ugly feeling. And I think that's a you problem, because that person is just sharing something they truly enjoyed. And if you're gonna go and shit on that, that just says a lot about you. You know what I mean? Where you're at mentally, whatever it is. And I think about your kids and your daughters. I just feel like, would you want that for your kid? Because the reality is that this industry is like one of like top 3 industry for kids nowadays to want to become. Like, kids nowadays want to become influencers. That's what they aspire to be. So the very person that's writing these negative things online to other people, their kids could be influencers one day, and they're not gonna like it when their kid gets these negative, hateful comments that, you know, you were once giving to someone else. So I think we need to be very careful with how we express ourselves online to the people that we follow and the people that we watch, because people dig stuff up from years ago. So when your kid goes on to become an influencer, just be prepared that the audience is gonna go back and dig from 10, 20 years back and find old comments from the mom shitting on influencers. Just remember that. I also just think it's really sad when moms, you know, women with kids, talk negatively to other women that have the confidence to post themselves online, because I feel like that's just how you're raising your kids to be in a way, you know, and maybe not, maybe you hide that part about you, but again, everything I'm saying says a lot about you if that's the case, you know? So I think that's the part that I hate, is the people that leave negative comments. They have zero like self-awareness and empathy to the other side of this, right? Like, she's on here doing it, so she should know that she's gonna get hate anyway. If that's your mindset, then there's something wrong with you. But when I've done this for so long and have seen how nasty and ugly people can be, it truly has let me learn like how I truly don't want to be. The other thing I don't love, and I'll end with this, is just when brands don't see your worth and you know your worth, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's like a hard place, because when you want to work with a brand and you love a brand and then they offer you X amount when you know you're worth this amount, that's a tough place to be, especially if it's a brand that you love. All right, next question. How do you get started nowadays? You just do. You just bust out your phone and you just film and you just post it, and that's just how you start. You have to really not care what other people think, and it's easier said than done, because I truly cared about mostly what my family and friends would think, because everyone else, it's like, I don't know you anyway, so I don't really have to worry. But when I first started posting, I posted on YouTube. And then when I had to start posting on Instagram, Instagram was where I really had most of my core like friends and family from everywhere, from like middle school, high school, you know, even elementary, and like all my big family. Like, it was kind of embarrassing for me to start posting these random like fashion videos of myself. But then I did, and I just kept doing it. And then once you just keep doing it, you just get so used to doing it that you won't care anymore. So that's it. You also don't need any fancy equipment, I promise you. If you just start with your phone, you can pretty much get all your content from there. So that's it. Just do it. That used to actually be like my slogan, like Nike, just do it. That used to be what I would just always tell myself and remind myself. Whenever I would get these crazy feelings of like doubt, I would just be like, just do it. Because if you don't, you're just gonna get to a point, so much time's gonna pass, and you're just gonna wonder, what if I did? Don't put yourself in that position and just do it. All right, next question. How do you stand out as a fashion influencer? That's a great question, especially in such like a saturated market. I definitely think there's room for everybody. It is saturated, but listen, like, I feel like as long as you're doing what you love, and as long as you're really adding value, as long as you're able to teach someone something, as long as, you know, you can help other women or men, whatever, gain confidence through whatever, what's the word? You know what I mean. Then you're adding value, and then you're useful. You're being useful to someone. I think that's a really good way to stand out. You could be really, really niche. So if you have like something so niche, which niche is like something so different, something so unique that no one else is doing, that's a way to go about it, you know what I mean? Everyone's kind of done it all, but just hone into what it is you really love doing, because no matter if like millions of people are doing it, if you love it, it's going to show and shine through, that people are going to be just drawn to it because they can see your passion for it. They can tell that you know, and you're just so honed in that they're gonna want to watch that and they're gonna want to follow that. So just make sure that you have a love for whatever it is you want to share. There's so much longevity in that versus, oh, I want to be an influencer just to make money, or I want to be an influencer just to like be out there. You know what I mean? Next question. All right, this one person sent in like so many questions, but I actually really like love all her questions. I like this question, was what was the biggest catalyst for your growth? So again, I started on YouTube, and when I started making videos on YouTube, I started just showing like my style instead of really explaining the basis of my style or how to even get your own personal style, because I just assumed that people knew the basics of fashion. I just assumed people knew how to get to a certain point of dressing yourself. I don't know if this makes any sense to you. And the moment that I realized that, like, oh my God, people really don't even know like the basics of fashion and getting dressed, was when I would get all the comments in my videos. So I would just show people like how to style knee-high boots, for example. And I would just show up dressed and show my boots, right? Like show the outfit with my boot. But it was like, but how do we get there? Like, how do you even put the outfit together, kind of thing? I would get so many questions about what bra do you wear? What underwear do you wear? It was like the most basic things that I assumed people knew. So then I kind of honed it back and I was like, all right. These people, like, people don't really don't know. So I need to start from scratch, literally start from zero, from the ground up, and like build it up that way. So then I just did that. I think it was like almost a year in, it was a couple months in, I decided to make a video called How to Be Stylish. And that was my basic video where I was gonna teach people how to be stylish, because that's when I, you know, found out like, holy shit, like people don't really know. And I need to really teach the basics. Let's just teach you how to be stylish from the ground up. And that video got so many, it has millions of views, but that's what kind of like catapulted my YouTube channel. And it was just overnight, so many hundreds of thousands of followers. I thought it was a glitch in the system. I kept waking up the next day and next day and the next day, and I was like, it's gonna go back to like a couple thousand followers. This is wrong. This is somehow a mistake. Like, there's no way I'm at 100,000 followers just overnight, you know? And then it kept going. And then I realized this is real. Like, people really loved that video where I taught them the most basic stuff. And I think that's with any subject or any topic or any category. It could be fashion, it could be cars, it could be tech, it could be any category that's out there. People are going to want to know the most basic things. And if you're able to go from the ground up, I think that's where a lot of success can ride, because you can't just assume that people want or know all these things, you know? You really kind of have to teach them. All right, next question. How do you decide and also decide sharing bits of your personal life? Okay, so this was a really confusing and like explorative path for me, I guess, because when I got pregnant, I was so excited and I was like, oh my God, this is like a whole new avenue for me to explore. And oh, I'm gonna show Presley and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have like probably more campaigns I would be able to do. And then I even started a family channel. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be like a mommy and me page. I'll show her and post her all the time. So I even started posting vlogs on our family channel that's here on YouTube in an effort to just really make it a thing. And then I really saw, like, TikTok started taking off, and I really saw a lot of these family accounts going off, like popping off, like growing like crazy, showing their super young kids. And I looked at it from both angles. I really thought about the longevity of that, and I was thinking to myself, like, if that was me, Jamie, and Presley, how would Presley be perceived and how would she like it later on in life, you know? And how would she handle all the comments, especially the negative ones? Because I was like seeing all these family accounts on TikTok, and the way that people would talk negatively about these kids for doing nothing wrong, I just thought, these kids don't deserve that. These kids don't deserve to have all these negative things being said about them. And just also this one article that I read where they found pedophiles on Pinterest pinning these little kids like from the waist down. I was like, that's it for me. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not gonna do a family channel. I'm not really gonna show her. I show her on stories because it goes away in 24, but like even that can be a lot for some people. Some occasions I'll show her in an actual post on my Instagram, but it's so rare anymore. I don't even really post, I barely post her on my Instagram. I'll show little clips of her here on my YouTube vlogs. I just feel so connected and so like loyal in a way to YouTube with that. So I kind of feel like I kind of want to give you guys on here a little more of that. But everything else, that's pretty much when I decided like, nope, I'm gonna keep it what it's been. I'm not gonna mix it. I'm not gonna make this a mommy and me channel. Like I'll share her outfits here and there. I'll share her just, you know, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna have this account where, you know, I'm gonna really like use Presley as a gateway for certain things. I'm not gonna do it. So it was just basically seeing others and seeing like the negative things that came off it that I felt like they just don't deserve. Someone asked my thoughts on daily family vloggers, so that was kind of my thought. You guys, you know, I think I've explained it there. All right, this next question, how do you get PR packages if you have a small following? So if you have a small following, you're gonna just have to share the brands that you love. Just post if it's beauty and you love the brand NARS. Just post you using NARS all the time and tag them, whether it's on stories or in your actual post, in reels, whatever. And honestly, just reach out to the brand by DM and ask them. And you can also show them here. Okay, here's the thing, like it's just common sense, right? Like when you go and ask someone for something, you also can't just ask, right? Show something that kind of vouches for you. So if you want to ask a brand for something, you know, talk about your history with the brand, introduce yourself, talk about the history, talk about how much you love them, talk about your favorite product or products, show them a video and say, you know, I've been sharing so many stories and videos using NARS products. One in particular had X amount of views. It did so well. With that, I want to feature more NARS products, and I want to kindly ask if you would send me some gifting. You just can't be so condescending about it. You just have to be super humble, super nice, show them why you deserve free product. And also something I like to do at the end of my, you know, emails or DMs is just say like, no worries if not, like it's not no biggie if you can't, just wanted to express how much I love the brand at the end, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Don't act like you're so entitled, don't act like, you know, they should be so inclined. You get the gist. Analytics is always good if you have some kind of analytics to show. So yeah, definitely just reach out. You're gonna get no's, you're gonna get no's, but you're gonna get yeses as well. And sometimes you're just gonna have to go a couple more months with sharing products and then go back, you know? Just don't be afraid because so many other people are doing the same thing. Next question, how did you start in the influencer space? Tell us your story. So like I said, I was born and raised on an island. I've always known that I wanted to do something in fashion. I moved out to the States for college and I always worked in retail. I lived in Newport Beach in Orange County, and then I worked at this one store. They now have so many stores. They've grown and they've blown up, but I really like honed into all things fashion there because it was such a small boutique. I really kind of grew with the company and I learned a lot. I became partners with them to run their website. So I've run a whole website before. I did the buying for it. I uploaded the photos, did the descriptions, did photo shoots, did, you know, just everything around the sun. From there, I knew exactly how to open a store, both physically and even like online because I had both of those experiences. Running the store, I was actually a manager, and running a website. So I just went back home. I opened a store of my own, but I wasn't fully ready to live back home in Saipan. I came back to California and I kind of closed down that shop just because I couldn't be here and run a store from there. And you know, at that point I was like, okay, I tried different things in fashion. Maybe I'm not supposed to do fashion. And I actually pivoted and completely changed my career and thought I was meant to do something else. So I tried to change it completely. I even was in pharma sales for 1 year. I even tried to do real estate for like 3 months. With everything that I tried to do in between, I always gave myself a timeline though, like X amount of months, and if it doesn't pan out, then I'm going to move on to the next thing. But in between, just like trying to figure it all out, I always just kept getting drawn back to fashion, and just like deep down, I just was like, I know this is not it. Like I cannot do this other stuff because I just love fashion so much and I know I have so much more to give. And that was during the time when YouTube makeup gurus were so big. This was like the pinnacle of the makeup guru era. I would always watch them as well, and it just like a light bulb clicked in my head, and I was like, you know what? There are so many YouTube makeup gurus that are doing so much on YouTube, but there aren't that many fashion girlies out there. Why can't I do the same thing but for fashion? And I was like, F it, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do fashion videos the same way they're doing makeup videos. And that's when I did it. And so that's how I started. And I also figured out, because you know, it is so inexpensive to do something online like this. It's practically free if you have a phone. You just have to sign up for TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's basically all free, right? And so for me, I was like, okay, like this is the perfect thing. Like, cost me really nothing until, like, you know, you have to start buying your camera, whatever, a couple $100 or a couple thousand, and then the rest is history. All right, next question. We're gonna talk about honesty. So there's like 2 questions that are the same. How much the influencer world is honest and genuine? I think that there's a lot of dishonesty in the influencer world. I think sometimes you can just kind of tell whether an influencer, you know, I think you can kind of tell. At the same time, I think that there are a lot of influencers who maybe haven't used or loved a brand or a brand's products in the past, and then they get the offer to partner with a brand and they end up loving the brand. Example is me. There are so many brands that I would never have batted an eye to. I would have never bought with my own money. I would just never think anything of it unless or until I got a partnership offer. So many of my holy grail absolute loves in like my beauty routine, makeup routine, hair routine, clothing, wardrobe, whatever, have come from working with brands and never have spent a dime in the past. But because I had that exposure to the brand through a partnership, I now absolutely love it. So I think that happens a lot, and I don't think that's a bad thing. All right, this is a great question, and I think a lot of people wonder, do you think I can start being an influencer now, or is it too late? I do not think it's too late at all. I think in any field, there's so much of everything already, whether like tech or, you know, the influencer space or interior design. There's nothing that hasn't been done, you know, in a way. So like, just do it. But again, I think just making sure that you are going to love, or that you love what you want to share with others, and not that you're just doing this to do it for other reasons, because I think people are going to see through it. And if you can get so many jobs out there, right, that you might not love. But when you do this, I think you can try to figure out what it is you actually love, what makes you happy that you want to share with others. And like I said, I think that's going to radiate, and that creates longevity. Because if you just do this and you're just like doing something that someone else does and you like that and you think you can do that, and then you just try to do what they're doing and you just keep going back, it's like you're gonna get kind of tired of it. So yeah, definitely don't think it's too late. I don't think it's too late to do anything, really. Okay, love you. By the way, can I just say, I'm just so, like, time for me is so important. It's like the most important thing now. I just want to say thank you guys for sending in these questions, because it takes time, and it's time out of your day, away from even your families, even if it's just quickly to write out a question. You guys are going to watch this, you guys are going to take time out again, and like, I'm so appreciative of your time that you take out for me, you know. That means a lot to me, because I just know how precious time is. So I just wanted to stop and say thank you guys for the time that you take out to ask and watch, and especially for those that have been here, and obviously those that are here just, you know, newly. I appreciate it. Okay, how do you get paid? Through social media, Instagram and YouTube. So there's YouTube, right? Like, I make money off of the ads on YouTube. Then there's the partnerships that I make through, you know, all 3 platforms. There's also like TikTok Shop, if you're into that. I'm not really into that, but people are making a lot of money on TikTok Shop, so that's another stream of income. Amazon is another stream of income through like their affiliate program. There are like 3 different affiliate linking platforms. There's Like to Know It. I am affiliated with Magic Links. I'm affiliated with, they changed their name, but they used to be ShopStyle, and I'm affiliated with like ShopMy. And those are all different streams of income. Anytime anyone clicks from whichever platform and buys something, then I would get paid from that, a commission. But mind you, like, I take the time out of my day to look for these outfits, create the slide, link them for you, and post it. So for me, these commissions that influencers get from taking the time to create these outfits and slides and look from different websites and link the best price and link from different websites with the different prices, so you guys can choose where you want to shop from. It all takes time, so I think that's completely justified that we're taking the time to create these for you, so you don't have to do it yourself. So yeah, all those different linking affiliate platforms is another stream of income. And Instagram is annoying because they don't pay that way, but they pay through other ways. Like, for example, some of you guys may be subscribed to some influencers' channels on Instagram, and you pay a fee. So the influencer gets paid, you know, through that as well. So you get paid through Meta, so YouTube / Google, TikTok / their creator platform, Amazon, Like to Know It, Magic Links, Captivate, sponsorships, partnerships, and then the many direct affiliate linking platforms. Again, TikTok Shop. There's so many ways that you can make money. All right, next question. Do you get all your clothes and accessories for free? Definitely not. I always love getting offered gifting, and I get offered gifting a lot. But also, like, I don't like waiting for things. Like, if it's a brand I love, I just buy it, you know? I don't ask for everything for free too. Like, I could definitely ask brands for gifting, but sometimes I just want it now, and I just, you know, I don't mind that. All right, one of the questions was, where's the part 1? I'm not sure where part 1 of this was, but this says that there's a part 2. Anyway, okay. I think this person wants to know about spam messaging, and like, how do you know when it's spam, when a company or a brand, or a company or a brand, or someone's pretending to be a company or a brand, and they're sending you, pretending that, you know, they want to work with you and they'll pay you X amount, and you're like iffy and you're trying to figure out if it's spam. It's super easy. First of all, if they're emailing you outside of 5 regular business days, which is Monday through Friday, just disregard. Most likely no brand is actually sending emails for sponsorships or partnerships on the weekend and after hours. So typically like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Anything outside of that is rare that it's, you know, unless you already have something going, but it's rare that anyone's going to email you at 2 in the morning, you know, 5 in the morning, unless you're like Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m., 9 p.m., that's spam. And always just check the email, you know, you can click on the actual email and see the address. And yeah, you can tell a lot about that. But also the way that they'll address you, a lot of spam messages will be like, hello dear. Like, no one says hello dear in a professional setting. And just like bad grammar, bad punctuation, anything that's like too like with emojis or like, you know, I don't even know what you call those, like, yeah. No one's gonna say hello dear or use weird words like that. Let me give you, I was trying to, here, this is like one. They always love to be like a big company too. Like they love to be like Prada or Starbucks. This one's saying that they're Goyard, which is another designer luxury brand. And it says, dear friend. Like no one is going to address you that way. Yeah, don't click on anything either. All right, next question. Share more about the financial side, realistic for newbies to make money. So if you're new, you're just, if you are new, I don't know, you might want to try the TikTok shop route if you feel like you might want to try to start making money right away. And definitely, obviously grow your audience, because if you're going to do YouTube and if you're going to do TikTok, I think that there's a certain threshold or a certain amount of followers that you have to have anyway in order to start monetizing your content. I'm not sure if that's changed. I'm sure it's changed. I've been doing this for so long that a lot of things have changed. You're also probably going to want to just reach out to certain brands and, you know, constantly keep doing that, but also keep working. And I definitely do think it's gotten a lot tougher when it comes to partnerships since it is saturated. So that's, I think, the only thing. Like, I don't think it's hard to start, but you may want to still kind of have your regular job until you feel like you're financially stable enough in doing influencing to leave your job and then just do it full time. I think back then it was a lot easier because there wasn't as many influencers to choose from. And now, because there are so many influencers to choose from, brands are super picky on who they work with. They want to see a lot of, you know, link clicks, just analytics in general, to see whether they should, you know, put money behind you and invest in you. And again, making quality content that can, you know, give your followers value. I think that's what also brands want to see. I think the easier ways to make money, like I said, TikTok shop, sign up for like Amazon, sign up for your all the affiliate linking partners, and just start linking stuff. Just start linking everything. It's not going to be, the affiliate linking might not be your major, and I guess it depends on how well it does, but you'll definitely start to see shift once you start growing. All right, next question. Do you actually keep all the things you receive and purchase, like all the clothes? So definitely not. I think that if I did, I would be kind of like busting at the seams, and I personally don't like that. I only don't keep the things, like, you guys know, if you follow me for a long time, I have a Poshmark account and I sell a lot of my clothing, or donate a lot of my clothing to shelters. I'll send a lot of like my family clothing that I think that they would like, but I don't like to keep stuff if I haven't worn it in like a year. For me, there are other people that can benefit from that, you know, rather than it just sitting there and collecting dust. So, you know, I do it like that way. I feel like my style has changed so much over the years, especially now. I am really leaning towards spending more money on better quality items and things that I find longevity in. So I think some of you guys may also be seeing that, and I'm sorry if you don't like it, but it's just kind of like where I'm at right now. But these are things that I feel like could be forever pieces. Of course, there's always going to be like little purchases at places like Zara here and there, because there's just some things you can't resist, and there's just some things that I don't want to spend so much money on because I think maybe it could be pushing the too trendy category. I'm trying to just not really be on that side of fashion anymore, so I'm more willing to spend more money on certain things when it comes to clothing. But yeah, I don't like to waste clothes in that sense, so I will try to sell it at a way less price or donate it, give it away. All right, next question. When was your first paid post/collab and how did you feel? I think if I can remember, I believe it was Almay. And this is a very good example of me never having bought or used Almay, the makeup brand, like the drugstore makeup brand, at all. But because of what I used, it became one of my holy grail items. And it's so funny that this question was asked because I actually thought about this product the other day. It's a brow gel. It was a brown brow gel and it was one of the best. Honestly, I might just go buy it again because you guys back in the day, if you follow me for that long, might remember this brow gel that I would just use it all the time. I would repurchase and repurchase and repurchase. It just made my brows, because I have none, it just made my brows look so nice and like fluffy. It was almost like they were forward thinking, because now this whole brow gel like lamination thing is so big that this brow gel was doing the stuff that we want it to do now back then. But yeah, that was like one of my first, if not my first, sponsorship or partnership deals, and I didn't think I was like even worthy enough, and I was crapping my pants. I couldn't believe it, and I was like so ecstatic. I was so happy. I felt so good. I felt so nice about myself that a company like thought I was worth that much. And yeah, that was probably not even a year in, or maybe a year in, somewhere around that 1 year mark. Okay, this is a good question too. Do you need to use your personal account on Instagram or start a new one if you wanted to start being an influencer? And I definitely think you could use your personal account if you want to. You could also just start a whole separate one and just start from, you know, scratch and make it like your own your own influencer account. But if you want to keep the followers that you already do have, regardless of if it's just friends and family, you could just, you know, maybe delete a lot of the photos that you don't think applies to this new, what's the word, gateway that you're starting. But yeah, I definitely think you can use your personal account. Just fine tune it, probably like delete the stuff, again, like that doesn't really go with what you're trying to achieve. All right, next question. Okay, this is going into a lot of like management stuff. And let's see, can this job be done without a manager? And when is it time to look for a manager? Okay, so for me personally, because I kind of figured out pretty early on what videos I think were going to help me and my channel, I started getting pretty busy, or I started getting a lot of emails from brands because obviously they caught on to the traction my YouTube channel was getting. And you know, they would ask me questions that I had no idea about. I didn't even know I had to think about like rates and, you know, different terminology that even to this day I'm like, I know what that means, but what does it really mean? You know, so that's when I realized I probably need someone to help me. So I kind of looked around, shopped around. No one actually approached me. I approached management companies because I just needed help. I didn't even know where to begin when it came to working with brands and what to charge them. And I just wanted some kind of knowledge and foundation. And then I found a management company that wanted to actually work with me. And it's actually such a blessing because the management company that I wanted to work with, they wanted to work with me, so it was like mutual. They didn't seek me out, I seeked them out, which is another testament to like, don't be afraid, who cares, just go out and get, you know, go after it. But so they paired me with the manager, and she was all right. I didn't think like crazy good things about her. I was like, I feel like I can do better, but let's just, this is a start, right? At least if I can start seeing where she prices me out, then I can learn and go from there. But you know, to my blessing, she didn't really last long as my manager because she moved on to, I don't even know what she moved on to. But I was given a new manager a couple months in, and my new manager has been my manager since. And let me tell you, this management game is not something that I hear a lot of good stuff about. I think that I just got really lucky because they just basically took me and whoever else was under this person that left, they took us and kind of pushed us to these other people. It just so happened that the person I got pushed off to just so happened that she was a good manager. And good managers are extremely rare in the industry. I don't think that I have had or heard of anyone talking good. Actually, okay, I take it back. Maybe one person has had a lot of good things to say about their manager. And I know and have met so many people in the industry, and everyone just has had the worst things to say about their managers or managers they've dealt with. And you're locked into a contract, mind you. So that's why you gotta really pick them carefully, because you are locked in, and a lot of times they will come after you to keep you just to get their 20% or whatever it is. So yeah, when you do get a manager, you have to remember you're giving them a cut of at least 15-20%. 20% is like the normal average. So anything you make, they'll take 20%. So the thing is that you always have to remember that everything can and I think should be negotiable. So a lot of them will come after 20% off of every stream of income that you make. But I think that, you know, if there are parts of your income where your manager completely has, where he or she does zero, then I don't think they should have a part of that. And I think that before you sign with anybody, you should always try to negotiate your own terms, your own deals, and even do like a probation period or a trial period. Do like a trial period of at least 3 months to see how you like it, and always put in a clause there that you want that trial period where you can opt out if you're not happy. And then also just make sure there's a clause in there that, you know, you can opt out after however, I just think everything's negotiable, okay? So to go back to the question of can this job be done without a manager, it can definitely be done without a manager. You're just gonna have to understand everything you're signing, what you're getting yourself into. You're gonna have to put in a lot of time into negotiating rates, and you're gonna have to know the terminology. You're gonna have to know what usage means, whitelisting. You're gonna have to know and come up with your own rates. You're gonna have to know how the rates change. You're gonna have to know how to read contracts. You're gonna have to know what, you know, redlining means, and you're just gonna have to know what you're getting yourself into when it comes to the contract, because once that paper's signed and you work away, they will come after you for certain things. So a lot of people that I know that are big actually don't have managers, and it's a lot of work and time. The upside of having a manager is that part of all that I mentioned, that time that goes into all of that, gets taken away, And that all goes to your manager so that you don't have to deal with it, so that you can focus on being creative. So that's where I love having a manager, is that I don't have to deal with the outreach, the back and forth of negotiations. I don't have to deal with the contract part of it. I don't have to deal with like all the crazy stuff. That's a big time commitment. And then, so you just have to be prepared for that, you know, especially if you have like a family, you might not have time for that. So you're gonna have to do both. You're gonna have to play both sides, both manager and content creator, and that's a lot, especially in today's world where there's so many platforms you even need to be filming for. And then going back to when it's time, or when do you think it's time to start looking for a manager, is I think when you feel so over your head and you feel like you're just being pulled in so many directions, you don't have enough time. I think that's when it's time. Or if you just like have no idea where to start, because the whole rate part of it is the trickiest part too. Because you can be so small, you could be a micro influencer with maybe only 10,000 followers, but your engagement could be so high and so good that you can charge so much. You know, and it also depends on the brand. And also a lot of these managers are the ones that have a lot of the connections and relationships with these bigger brands and bigger agencies that you may not have as an influencer. So there's so many things to think about. I think try to do it in the beginning for as long as you can. And then when it just all becomes too much, then hopefully, you know, you can find someone good. But you really have to vet it out. You really have to ask all the questions, take your time with it, negotiate, don't just sign whatever they put in front of you. Trust me. Have you ever considered a class or event to talk in depth about this? Yeah, I don't know, you guys let me know. Is this something that you guys will want me to do and like share, you know? Because there's just like so much to it. Yeah, let me know. What would you do if you had to start over in the industry? If I was in the industry and I had to start over, there would absolutely be no other category besides fashion that I would want to be in. But if I had to, I'd probably just do like beauty stuff, like beauty and hair stuff, just to, you know, full force. I mean, I do that now, but I'm like mainly fashion. You know what I mean? All right, last but not least, got a lot of questions about money, right? So here's the thing. If you, like I said, love something and you want to share it online, it's such a great space because it's free. You can reach so many different people and audiences. You could share so many valuable ideas and information. It could be so lucrative for you. There's a lot of money in this industry, just like there's a lot of money in the tech industry. But at the same time, just know that you're gonna get a lot of hate for doing this, and you have to be prepared. Unfortunately, it just comes with the territory, but I think that just, I don't know, that's just how it is, unfortunately. But yeah, I think just staying true to yourself, nothing else matters, and just making sure that you love what you do, then you'll be good. All right, you guys, let me know what topic you want me to talk about next. I think that I wanted to talk about dating. I know I've been married for 5 or 6 years now, but I feel like I have you know, a couple friends that are still married, some I know that are divorced and back on the dating scene. I just feel like I've gone through so many different things when it comes to that. I also just think it's such a fun topic that I'm thinking maybe that could be the next topic, so you guys can ask me any questions. Otherwise, if there's any other topic you guys want me to talk about on here for the next episode, let me know in the description box. No, let me know in the comments, not in the description box. But again, thank you so much for watching, and if there's anything on this topic that I missed that you want me to touch on more, let me know that as well.